and welcome. My name is Elizabeth and today we are going to make some elderberry gummies. If you've tried elderberry gummy bear recipes from the internet, you've probably run into a few that end up like watery jello jigglers. Today I'm going to show you all the tips and tricks to make sure these gummies taste like real gummies that your kids are going to love and that you can use as stocking stuffers, gifts, or just an everyday little supplement to give to your kiddos. Let's get into this. These gummies take almost no time to make. You're gonna blink and they're gonna be done, but they do need a few things that you might not normally have in your kitchen. You're going to need either a double boiler with a saucepan on the top. I'm going to use a glass bowl with a little glass bowl turned upside down into a pot of water, and that's going to be kind of my improvised double boiler.
Take 2/3 cup of elderberry syrup. You want to use a sweetened homemade syrup that has honey already in it. Then you're going to add another 2 tablespoons of honey into your elderberry syrup and gently whisk it all together. 2/3 cup of any liquid will work to make the gummy bears. So if you don't have time to make your own elderberry syrup, you can use some tasty mixture of store-bought syrup and maybe a little bit of juice concentrate to make it better tasting, but I digress. Anyway, once you have that all mixed up, take your 1/4 cup of gelatin and sprinkle your gelatin over the top of the liquid mixture until it is completely absorbed. You can use a whisk to gently press the gelatin into the liquid, but try not to beat it too much. You don't want air bubbles in your gelatin if at all possible. So let it sit for about 5 minutes and watch for it to bloom. It's going to start liquidy and end the consistency of applesauce. Activate your gelatin on the lowest possible heat and stir it without getting a lot of air into it until it's clear and looks just like it did before you added the gelatin. You can turn your heating element off and on to keep it very, very low temperature. This helps keep it from overheating and breaking and foaming a lot on you. From the time I put the mixture on to the heat to the time I started filling the molds was only about 5 minutes. So this will melt and warm up very quickly. You shouldn't ever see steam, and you definitely shouldn't see bubbling. You should just see it basically melt. And as soon as it melts, you need to immediately begin filling those molds and keep the mixture warm, but definitely not overheated for the entire time you're working with it. However, even if you do see foam or your mixture gets kind of gluey or overheated, press on and fill those molds anyway. You'll still get something tasty at the end. This recipe completely filled 2 trays. See, definitely not quite perfect. Once my molds are filled, I just take all the leftover gelatin in the pan and just put it in a little dish to set on its own. Then I take the molds and the extra and I put it all in the fridge for about 30 minutes. To get that authentic gummy texture, you can air dry your gummies for 3 to 4 days on some parchment paper on a drying rack. Drying these will also make them easier to store at room temperature for longer periods of time. If you made a sheet of gelatin, then now is the time to cut it into bite-sized pieces and lay it out to dry as well. And then to store them, whether or not you've air dried them, you can do this step. Roll them around with a little bit of coconut oil to keep them from sticking together. Then line a glass jar or a plastic container or whatever you're using. Line it with a paper towel or a little piece of cheesecloth, and then put the gummies into the container and seal it airtight and put it in the fridge. They are also good out at room temperature, but the room temperature storage works better if they've been dried out a little bit before you seal them up in a container. Well, I hope this was helpful to you. Enjoy your gummies.
You made it to the end of this video. If you want to subscribe, you can click this button, or if you want to watch another video, click the link right over here. Bye for now.